a little bit longer, a little bit stronger, a little bit louder. Ooh, okay. Because I feel like I only know like 2 black inventors that were talked about the same way that like Edison and Einstein were talked about. Now I have a feeling you're about to drop a list on me of things I didn't know that were invented by black people. I know for sure this was invented by a black man. I don't know why I remember that.
I saw no.
But it makes me happy.
Black guy.
This is a microphone.
In old school.
But more specifically, it looks like something like a sexy jazz singer might sing into.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with
White guy.
no.
Black person.
Black person.
This, I believe, is made by a white guy.
Well, Ford, those were white dudes. I'm gonna go with white dude. Whiteman, we established that, right?
Yeah.
Unless this is a trick, how wrong were we?
All of these are black and
Shit!
Lying! Damn!
Look at what fucking U.S. history, American public school teaches you that Thomas Edison.
My cousins came through.
Mine did not. My first instinct was.
All right, Shalom. I want to start out by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushua, Hashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And Shalom to all the Akim out there pushing in word in sincerity and in truth. You know, this is really going to go into the third part of the light series that I was going through, which is really a heavy series going into black, so-called black and Israelite inventions and how the so-called white man is a thief. And where I last left off, I was speaking about lotions and soaps and how the so-called white man didn't have lotions and soaps when he was in the caves because the lotions and soaps was crafted by a so-called black man, George Washington Carver, all right, as well as many other things. And that shows you that, in today's time, without the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the so-called white man would be very primitive and very beastly even in today's time. The reason why Esau even has the ability to enact the New World Order via microchip and create all these different, AI technology through the computer system and all these different things to even establish their enterprise is due to the facts that we actually helped engineer and pushed the engine of this system through the technological advancements and wise inventions that we created because we're naturally an innovative people. So, I had a list, of course, and I'm going to go back into it, but I really want to go into Job 30 to further clarify or further go along the lines with what I was saying before. This is Job 30:1. But now they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock. And who is they that are younger than I? The so-called white man. He's a beastly individual. He's younger than us mentally. Like I said, when it comes to levels of advancement, levels of frequency, so to speak, they're younger than us. They're younger than us. The Israelites, we're the profitable nation. Verse 2, yea, whereto might the strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age was perished. For want and famine, they were solitary, fleeing into the wilderness, in former time desolate and waste. Right, and they were pushed out of the different countries because really the so-called white man, and you could go into this article, these Jews were always historically pushed out of the countries that they were living in because they're thieves, man. Even going along Christopher Columbus. The reason why Christopher Columbus was came to the Americas because he was getting pushed out of his land. All right. And he knew that he was going to get a high compensation if he discovered and basically established things in the new America, so to speak. And what did Columbus do? He came and raped, robbed, pillaged, and destroyed the native, not really necessarily the Native Americans, but the Northern Kingdom. All right. Because he didn't land in the Americas, but the Spanish conquistadors, the French, Dutch, British, later on in history, they collectively destroyed America as you know it. So continuing on, who cut up mallows by the bushes and juniper roots for their meat, They were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as after a thief, to dwell in the cliffs of the valleys, in caves of the earth, and in rocks. So the so-called white man is a beast, man. All right, and this wasn't the beginning of time. This is really going into the dark ages. All right, and we created all kind of things even in the dark ages, man. You know, and this list that I actually have is not even going into, you know, prehistory, so to speak, you know, American history. Is going into really modernized history and things that the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans have made, you know, in today's time. It's not going into all the ancient things that we actually crafted for the society to actually stay afloat to this day. And Lord willing, I'll go into some ancient innovations and show how impactful we were even back then and how we use this technology in today's time. You know, in my hand right now, I have a pen. And who created the ballpoint pen? So-called black, man. Everything around you, you know, from the bed that you're actually laying on, you know, to the stoplights that you're stopping on, is Israelites that actually created these things. Stopping, you know. So I'm going to continue on this list. I would start at lotions and soaps, automatic fishing reel. All right, George Cook, ice cream mold. And I'm going to continue. I'm not going to really read the individuals, you know, if you have the time, just go into it. Blood plasma, horse riding saddle. Oh, for that, so the saddle to ride horses. Who created that? Wendy Davis, man. These are inventions that's $1 billion enterprises, $1 billion companies that people are marketing from unto this day. The shoe, W.E. Dietz, the player piano, the arm for record player, the doorstop, excuse me, the doorknob. The photo embossing machine, postal letterbox, the toilet. So for you to use the bathroom, it was created by the so-called the so-called black man. You know, that was a slip of the tongue, definitely. The so-called white man didn't create nothing but the dildo, man. The dildo and the blow-up doll and all these different homosexual weirdo inventions. All those was crafted by your enemy, man. But when it comes to things that's pivotal, and the way the society flows and runs to this day, all around you is created by so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Postal letterbox, toilet, furniture, caster, guitar, golf tree, motor. So for you to even to drive your car, Jay Gregory is the individual that's accredited for the motor, man. The start invention of the motor. The lantern, thermal hair cutters. Oh, curlies, excuse me, to curl your hair, Solomon Harper. Gas burner, the kitchen table, programmable remote control, video commander, Sandy phone, super soaker, bicycle frame, Space J's BS needle retrieval arm, printing press. Yeah, right. And it tells you that in Job when it speaks about the printing press, the way that we actually read in these words and the scriptures unto this day, through paper writing is committed to Israelite, man. You know, when you think about the printed press, you think about the so-called white man because the white man stole all these inventions. The individuals that actually has company coverage over all these individuals are white people now because the so-called white man is a thief and a robber. And I'm Lord willing, I'll do a couple lessons, a lesson or two on that, on how all these different inventions are actually stolen, man. The company runners, so to speak, that actually manufacture these goods of guitars and horse riding saddles and lubricators and locks and all these doorknobs and all these things are so-called white people now. Why? Because the so-called white man tricked and robbed the Israelites out of their inventions. That's where you have the term the real McCoy, man. We the real McCoy. We're the authentic ones. Even in our nationality, we're the true Israelites. That's how we know that we're the Israelites, because we see these things that occurred back then and we see the same thing happening now. But continuing on, the lantern, the thermal hair curlers, gas burners, kitchen table, programmable remote controls, video commander, Santa phone, super soaker, bicycle frame, printing press, envelope seal, laser fuels, pressure cooker, window cleaner, pencil sharpener, the fire extinguisher, lock, shoe lasting machine, lubricators, rocket catapult, elevators, gas masks, traffic signals, hairbrush, heating furnace, airship, forklift chair, hand stamp, fountain pen, dustpan, insect destroying gun, baby buggy, sugar refinement, clothes dryer, cell phone, pressing curtain rod, lawn sprinkler, automatic gear shift, urinalysis machine, hydraulic shock absorber, refrigerator. So Israelites created everything, man. And this is a heavy list, man. This is interesting, because when you go into all these things, like I said, you see these things every single day. The reason why you're able to preserve your food is because of an Israelite. That's why you got to get out that mentality thinking that Whitey created everything. Remember, this devil is a beast. All right. He didn't create a damn thing. Continuing on, the static limbing wheelchair, helicopter, fire escape ladder, telephone, electric cutoff switch, relay instrument, telephone system, electro meaty brake, galvanic battery, electric railway system, roller coaster, auto air bike. And Granville T. Woods created a lot of things, man. You see the list. So, we have to always remember that the Most High put something in our spirit, man. We're not like these other nations. As it is written, the portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things. And always remembering that the so-called white men just freshly came out the caves with that beastly like nature, man. And we see it to this day, man. That's why people are in such a low, foolish, destitute state, because they latching on to the ways of the so-called white men, which is beastly. That's why the scriptures refer to them as brute beasts. And they're truly brute beasts in these times because they're without the law, statutes, and commandments and the wisdom of Yahweh Shem Shah. All right, so I'm going to get that in Jeremiah 10:16, which I just referenced. Jeremiah 10:16. The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Lord of hosts is his name. Right. And the Most High, the Lord of armies, he put his signet, or he signed his spirit on the minds of the Israelites to show and represent that his spirit reigns superior than any other nation through the sons of God. All right. That's why it says he's the former. When you go into the word former, it's creator, inventor, developer. To form something is to have basically putting your hands and wrapping around through your divine nature and power and creation, man. That's why to form anything, just as a clay with a potter, you have to actually grab the clay. You have to actually put your grip, put your tension on it, and have the proper rotation, and things of that nature to develop whatever you're trying to develop, whether a bowl, a plate. That's basically clay forming. And it's the same thing with us, man. We form everything to the likeness of the spirit that's within us. And that's how we know we're the true nation of kings and priests. All right, because of the things that manifest through the wittiness and wisdom that we actually possess. This is 2 Ezra 6:54. As for the other people which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle. Right, another word for spittle is spit. So these other nations aren't nothing, man. Don't regard the so-called Moabites, which they always say that they're highly technological. Their technological advancements supersede any other people. Don't regard them as high. They're known as wash pots, man. They're known as spit in the scriptures. They're known as nothing. Same thing with the white man. Same thing with those dirty Hamites, man. They are all spittle. They're all less than. We're above them. And you got to walk and feel and truly have it in your spirit that you're above them. Because the Lord said he like them on the spittle. And it continuing on said, and has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. Less than. So, that's really the end of the lesson. I'm going to continue on, Lord willing, through the spirit and, really going to these inventions and really going to the strength of our people, because, Israel is the Lord's chosen and we're holy, and it manifests through whether it's the sports arena, the innovative world, the technological world, economics, all these different things. The wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of Yahweh Shem Shai is with our people. Of course, the elect, but us as a whole, we always show that we have a light that supersedes any of our contemporaries or any other nation. So I want to end by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Shem Shai by Shem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And Shalom Akim.